Okay, for this video, we're going to tie the Elk Hair Caddis. Pretty standard fly, used by most fly fishermen on western rivers. So to start this fly, the first thing we're going to do is get the fly tying thread fastened to the hook and move it to the back of the hook. When I say back of the hook, I mean back here where the bend begins. So most of the materials for this fly actually get tied in right there. So to start off with, first thing we're going to do is I'm going to use a small piece of hackle and I'm going to tie that right there where I stopped my thread. So we'll place that right on there, get it fastened down, and the next step will be to use a little bit of dubbing for the body. A couple of different colors. You can use any colors you prefer. For the fly that I prefer to tie, I use a little dubbing called Ginger Caddis. That's what my dubbing is going to look like. Kind of try to flare that out a little bit. A lot of times for the caddis fly, I don't use a lot of dubbing for a body material. No sense in having a large body on this fly. Okay, we've got our dubbing on, got our hackle tied in, so I'm just going to start wrapping the dubbing forward. I'm going to try to make this a little bit of a, give it a little bit of a tapered look, with the front end being a little bit larger than the back end. So, okay, there's my body. Now the next step is going to be to wrap this hackle forward. So, as you wrap forward, you want your wraps to be evenly spaced. Kind of gives the fly a nice ribbing look. Many people prefer to tie in a piece of copper wire to help hold the hackle in place. I have not found that to be worthwhile actually, and saves time on my tying by not doing that. So, okay, the hackle is tied in. Going to snip that off. Last step, we're going to cut a piece of elk hair and use the hair stacker, get it stacked, and then place it on the fly. There's my patch of elk hair. One of the things I like to do is, you can notice there's quite a bit of fuzzy stuff in there. I like to eliminate that, pull that out of there. That way when you tie the elk hair onto the hook, it's actually going to fasten a little bit better, since there's not that additional junk or garbage, whatever you want to call it. So there's the elk hair. I run it into the hair stacker this way, then we'll stack it. Okay, now I'm going to place the elk hair right on the top of the fly, just like that. Get the elk hair to where it sticks just past the bend in the hook. When I've got it where I want it, I'm going to hold it in my left fingers. Get one soft wrap around the elk hair, then kind of pull. You see the elk hair flare a little bit. I run my thread back and forth. It helps kind of cinch it down. And then I'm going to do about a dozen wraps, good, tight, solid wraps, working backwards on the hook. And as the elk hair flares out, that is a bit of an indicator that tells you, the elk hair on this side that is, as it flares out, that's an indicator that tells you that you've got your wraps tight enough to where the hair should be fastened down nicely without having to worry about it wrapping around the hook. Once I have that all tied off, grab all that elk hair. I'm going to snip all of it at the same time, give it a nice even look there, a finished look. I got this one flyer I gotta That looks like I got a couple flyers I got to take care of. Just try to cut them at the exact same length as the others. And there's the Elk Hair Caddis. Last step, going to use the whip finisher, and we'll whip finish this fly. And then if you had fly head cement, this would be the time to put a little head cement right there at the knot that you've tied off. So that's your Elk Hair Caddis.